Hey everyone, Ollie at Retro Gamer Revival. I'm here today with a video to talk to you about 5 PS2 games that I think you must have in your collection. I've picked games that are also very good, but I've also picked games that are under the £10 mark. As with the series that I've been doing all throughout this year, I'm trying to find games that people who are looking to start their collections can easily obtain without having to break the bank. So, without further ado, here are 5 must-have PS2 games you need to have in your collection or to start your collection that are under £10. Kicking us off today, I'm throwing out there Devil May Cry. This is pretty much a staple PS2 game and a series that everyone should really be into, if you like 3D action adventure games that is. This is very much in the hack and slash genre. You will button mash, but a lot of it is to do with combinations. That is one of the big selling points of this game, is the combinations you can do in the fighting. Stringing certain battles across, certain battle moves to get you a really high ranking at the end of a fight. It's very addictive to try and get that really high S ranking. But graphically, this game blew everyone away at the time. It still holds up really well now. You can get this on the PS3 and the PS4 as an HD remaster, but those versions are sort of becoming a bit more expensive. But the original version on the PS2 is well under £10. If you're looking for a great adventure game that's got a really good story, a host of really good characters, and just a really great fun button mashing system, Devil May Cry. Add it to the list. Next up, Zone of the Enders, an absolute staple PS2 classic in my opinion. This game is a 3D shoot 'em up that has a few 3D action elements thrown into it as well. You spend a lot of the time in the game, if not all of the time in the main game, in a giant mech, fighting and battling your way around the various courses. It is absolutely bonkers and mind-blowingly good fun, but it has a really quite intense story. If you like the sort of stories around the way maybe Metal Gear kind of shows itself, this is definitely going to be one for you. Battle system takes a little bit of getting used to at first, but once you do, it's an absolute riot, and you will see many games since this game that have sort of taken that element and run with it as well. I can't recommend this one enough. It is absolutely under £10. You've just got to try it out. Next up, a Final Fantasy game, Dorbs' favourite of course, that really started the trend of putting Final Fantasy on a very straight path, but for some reason people don't seem to go too hard on this game in terms of saying that it's too linear. That is Final Fantasy X. It has a great story with a character arc for Tidus, who is your main character, that really does pay off by the end. What starts out as someone who's a little bit irritating and a little bit cocky generally becomes very humanized by what happens to him in the story. This is a lot of fun. If you like your turn-based RPGs and your Japanese RPGs, this is an absolute must. Even for fans of other types of RPGs, or if you're not an overly Japanese RPG or even a Final Fantasy fan, I would still recommend this game because it is a bit more linear, and with that in mind, it will sort of help you get from A to B without having to do too much exploration outside of that A to B sort of format. Graphically, superb. Battle system is turn-based, which again is a staple for the series. Some of the cutscenes in this game absolutely blew my mind at the time, and even today I still think the cutscenes look absolutely fantastic. There is also a couple of ports of this. There is one on the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 4 and on the PlayStation Vita. Most of those versions are above £10. I believe the PS3 version is sort of under the £10 as well, so if you'd like an HD version of that you can play on a PlayStation 3, it's available. If you want to play the original on original hardware though, this is your one, and it is definitely under £10. Next up, a comic book inspired game, Ultimate Spider-Man. There are 2 versions of this. There's the standard version and the special edition version. For some reason this version is going absolutely bananas online price wise, so kind of forget about that, because other than a few extra features I don't think there's any value in difference to the game. So Ultimate Spider-Man is a great fun action adventure game. You're probably seeing a bit of a trend here with the action adventure genre. The art style on this game though is absolutely impeccable. It is cel shaded and it is just absolutely gorgeous to look at. It still, as with all the games I've said today, still holds up very well today. There's a free roaming element to it as well, which is always enjoyable with a Spider-Man game, and you get to play as Venom, and that is a key selling point, or it certainly was for me, a huge selling point. I was a big fan of Ultimate Spider-Man, the comic book series, so if you're also a fan of that series, you'll get a lot out of this, but you don't need to be really up on your Ultimate Spider-Man comics to really enjoy this game at all. It stands alone on its own, and it is absolutely worth your time. The regular version like this, you can pick up for about £6, and I highly recommend you do so. The last game I'm going to recommend to you, how can you even do a PS2 video without mentioning at least one of these games? Grand Theft Auto Vice City. In my opinion, this is up there as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, Grand Theft Auto game of all time. What Grand Theft Auto 3 did for the series and revolutionized it, Grand Theft Auto Vice City just took that adaptation and just ran with it in every way possible. Set in the 1980s, this is just an absolutely killer game. The soundtrack for this game on this particular version is also just absolutely incredible. The port they've recently done for the GTA trilogy for the PS4 and the Xbox Series, it just doesn't cut it, I'm afraid. Graphically it still looks a little bit funky, and they've removed some of the songs for the soundtrack which kind of ruined the atmosphere. The intro to this game with the song that it was intended for is just spellbinding. I'm not going to ruin it for anybody that maybe hasn't seen it, because if you pick this up, put it in and just watch that intro, you'll know exactly what I mean. Grand Theft Auto Vice City is absolutely a must-have. If you've never played a game in the GTA series, which would just be staggering at this point, this would be an excellent entry to that. Highly recommend Grand Theft Auto Vice City. There we have it, 5 PS2 games that are must-haves for the system that are under £10. Like I said at the start, if you've got a PS2 collection or you've been playing PlayStation 2 for years, there's a very high likelihood you've either played those games or have them in your collection. If, however, you don't, you're just looking to start your collection, or you've not really enjoyed what the PS2 library can offer, there are 5 games right there that are easily affordable that you could really dive into and have a lot of fun with. Thank you as always for watching these videos. If you have done this far, please keep getting in contact with us, because the more you tell us about certain systems you want us to talk about, we will absolutely do that. Thank you again to all the new subscribers we've gained over the last couple of weeks. It's been really enjoyable catching you all and talking to you all. Please consider subscribing to this channel if you are new. Hit that little thumbs up button to let us know that you've been here. I've been Ollie, and I will see you in the next video.